know if that worked on the timing, but holy crap, that was awesome. Thank you very much to Walker Young. To Dr. John Price, first of all, PhD. What is it exactly in folklore? I don't know.
Well, my PhD is in American Studies, which is a form of cultural studies, which is the history of stuff and people, as opposed to like battles, right? Uh-oh, did we lose? Did we lose Captain Fun? So close. Is this just a trial run? Who are we? What do you want? Those are questions from Babylon 5, which is a much better show than most of the Star Treks, which is why we're on the internet, to talk about Star Trek.
All right. Can you see that?
I saw you for a second. Not going well. Not off to a good start.
Maybe.
So there I was walking down the street, and next thing you know, I was looking at Star Trek. You know what I mean? And then someone was like, "Hey, you right there, you look like you should be a PhD." And I was like, "Joke's on you, man. I am a PhD. I'm a PhD in Star Trek. So I don't know what else to tell you, man." And they're like, "Dude, that's cool. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard." And then that person was not my wife, because she is totally not impressed by any of my academic credentials, because she's an actual scientist. So she does like actual science stuff. And I feel very inferior in this whole situation. And it really just doesn't go well. Anyway, how are you guys? Everyone doing well at home? I realized watching that really cool intro, I wear this shirt a lot. Like, this is a shirt that I wear a lot. And I'm not sure that's intentional, but I feel like now it should be my thing. You know, it's kind of like those like background shirts in Babylon 5. You know, I never thought of that before, but it's also just really cheap and I wear it a lot. So I don't know. I wonder what my students think. I've never noticed that before. What do you think, Larry?
I think that anything under a lower decks jacket is appropriate, because that's your lower decks, man.
Right.
That just looks like you're a guy who works for a living.
Exactly. I'm a dude who works for a living. I sleep in a bunk bed next to the warp core. Everything's fine, you know. Is there radiation there? Yes. Do we have an awesome doctor who, if she remembers who I am, will treat me? Maybe, you know, nobody really cares. We get promoted a few times. Next thing you know, you get your own quarters. Sometimes you got to share quarters, but that's okay. You know, we're all adults here. And you know, just moving up those ladders, you know.
All right, so it's kind of technically 3:00 now. We had this weird soft start. Hopefully my internet connection is settled down. It really just clicked. Do you want to talk about Star Trek for a sec?
Yeah, we could talk about Star Trek. That would be totally cool. Yeah.
I have something to say. Nicolas
Uh-oh.
Cage wants to be in a Star Trek movie is like, no shit, Sherlock. Especially because he's of the age of me and, you know, possibly you on the lower end of the scale of guys who would put on a monster maroon and go, "Mom, I'm glad you're the casting agent for this film. I've never asked anything of you in my life. Will you please just give me 3 lines talking to somebody cool that's on the Enterprise crew, saying wear the jacket, and I'm fucking going home with that. That's all I want." She's like, "Oh, I love you, my son, Christian Slater."
I was gonna say, that's
so
the old Christian Slater.
Of course, Nicolas Cage thinks that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's clearly the best case scenario in Hollywood. I mean, that's what everyone goes there for. Okay. So we got Nicolas Cage, American superhero. real life superhero, and he wants to be in Star Trek, which is like the coolest thing I've ever heard. And we should totally make that happen. I mean, just off the top of my head, he should absolutely play Captain Ron Tracy of the Exeter. And the whole thing should be just the Omega glory, but from the Nicolas Cage, Ron Tracy perspective, where he's the hero of his own story. And that should just be the whole movie. Just 2 hours of Nicolas Cage playing Ron Tracy in the Omega glory. And he thinks he's fighting this life and death struggle for the Fountain of Youth. And then this asshole Kirk shows up and ruins everything for him. I think that would be probably the best case scenario, to be honest with you. You know, obviously, of course, we would have to get Captain Fun over here, to be a member of the Exeter crew, as he, you know, is most famously known for his Exeter aficionado ship. He has multiple Exeter related things going on inside of him, not just on the surface. So we got him as part of the crew. I would have to be a part of the crew as well. I could just be a scientist. Now, the sad thing is, all of the Exeter crew, they die, of course, but maybe this is a reimagining of the Omega Glory. So we could not die. That would be really cool if we could not die. And we take the place of the Enterprise crew, and we're the ones who have to snap Captain Nick Cage / Ron Tracy out of his whole thing. And that would be awesome. I think that would be a good way to do that. What do you guys think? Would you like to see Captain Ron Tracy played by Nicolas Cage?
Yes. Yes.
I think that's exactly what he should do. Yeah.
Hey. That just makes me say, I wonder what happened to Chris Sagasag or to Bjorn Tiberius Bjork.
Yeah.
I was telling Walker again, that's our friend Tony. Hey, Chuck Gilbert's here. There you go. I feel better now.
We're not just talking into the void.
We were, Chuck, I don't know if you were fooling around on Facebook today, but I posted this thing and I immediately thought of you. It's a picture of the 1966 Batman, Adam West and Burt Ward, but they put John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell's heads on it.
Nice.
And I was just like, man, you could literally do that show right now, like some updated thing, complete. And those are the two guys you would cast. They would do it completely full on. I was like, Chuck Gilbert needs to see this. It's like in the spy thing where you're like, you know, we need 007 reactivated. It's like, here is a thing that the overlap on the Venn diagram is just my buddy Chuck.
I would definitely watch Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, Step Brothers version of Batman 66. I would definitely watch that.
I mean, it's a no-brainer.
No.
I mean, you could go shoot that.
Done.
You could shoot that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because
you don't even need a script.
Like we know people, we could borrow a Batmobile. We know people that would stay up all night and make sure that the costumes that they had were altered to fit those guys exactly.
That's right.
I'm not kidding. If you told me at 9 a.m. Pacific time, we could be shooting at 9 a.m. out under the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
24 hours later.
Yeah.
Let's go. And all we need is Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. Let's go.
Seems easy enough.
I'll get him to sign my my jacket that I made from Kong's Skull.
Perfect. Sounds. I mean, this has to happen at this point.
Wow, right? This is shaping up. Yeah.
Yeah. You got so many good ideas. Chris Sagasag says he's listening to a tech meeting. He's listening to Dork Trek, and he's helping a user with OneDrive access. Can I talk how much I hate OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive? I hate it so goddamn much. Anyway, Anna Kendrick as Batgirl, dude. I mean, you already had me, and now I'm just in. Like, I don't know what else.
Yeah, that's who it is. See, that's why I said Chuck Gilbert needs to be activated. This is a Batman 1966 conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a church without the Pope. You can do it. just not as holy as you can get.
What are you, a Protestant? You know what I mean?
Tuxedos before 6. What are we, farmers?
Exactly.
Anyway, sorry for the weird mood for the everything. I had a little technical difficulties in the beginning, and I missed the whole thing. But you turned me around while I was trying to get back on digitally. You turned me around in cyberspace. I haven't even heard it yet, but redeeming Ron Tracy where he's played by Nicolas Cage is perfect. I don't really need to hear the details after that.
I mean, that's it. Those are the details. You know?
Yes, please. I was
Yeah,
like, Nicolas Fury, yeah, shut up, man. I mean, Nicolas Cage, you and me, everybody wants to be in a movie, but yeah, not everybody could like pull off a really good Ron Tracy. That's the guy you want, man, who's fucking
the only guy
rock solid serious until it goes off the rails, and then he really goes off the rails.
Yeah.
I like close it up, man.
Sign off. We're done.
Perfect. Wow, that was you just like being annoyed and dropping off brilliance, wasn't it?
No, well, you said Nick. I've heard this Nicolas Cage thing. I haven't had a chance to read any of the stories, but you know, I'm just thinking of like all of the Nicolas Cage movies I've seen. I'm like, oh, there's only one person he would be, and that's Captain Ron Tracy of the Exeter, looking for the Fountain of Youth and finding a batshit crazy adventure. And that's it.
So here's the thing, which is sort of, I guess, explains why I'm annoyed going in, is that, you know, IO9 and all these dumb shit places send like the same guy to the Saturn Awards and interview everybody, and then somebody goes, oh, you know, I really need to take a pee, and then they turn that into an article about how, you know, James Cameron is saying Take a Pee is his next movie,
right?
And what does that mean? And that was the Nicolas Cage thing. He's there for the Saturn Awards. He's a fan like all of us, right?
Yeah.
He's probably done some movie. He's going to have some laughs, right? Why not? His friends are there. It's a social thing.
Yeah.
And somebody goes, hey, so what do you want to do? And he's like, man, fucking, I want to be in Star Trek. And then they make a whole article about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, he said a couple more sentences, but it was all like literally anything you or me would say, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to be in Star Trek, but only if I can add to it, right? I want to be there on the Enterprise. I don't want to be like floating in space. That's kind of what he said.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's what we all want. Oh, wait, no, but you're Ron Tracy.
I mean,
that's one of those things, like Mark Espinosa says, the way you introduce the Fantastic Four is like, does this world have a Tony Stark? And it just, the whole thing is assumed. Like everybody knows who they are, right? And I thought that was brilliant, and now I think that's brilliant. Nicolas Cage in a Star Trek, that's dumb. Oh, yes, Positive Drake. He's Ron Tracy. It's like, I kind of want to make that meme. No one's going to get it except us.
I would laugh. I would give you a heart emoji on the Facebook. That's what I would do.
Oh, man. Now I have
to
do it. It's Valentine's Day, you know.
Is it?
Well, it's coming up. No,
I'm very lucky that my wife doesn't care about Valentine's Day, so I never have to, like, I'll do something, but like she definitely is not like I'm romantic in the relationship, so like she's like, oh, that's nice, thank you, and then she'll like put her reality TV on. You know, it's pretty good.
I have a feeling that's most couples at some level, right?
Yeah.
There's like, Mimi and I call that the, like, she's the sense and I'm the nonsense.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, she needs a little fun in her life, and I need to like check off some boxes on the to-do list. You know, so between the two of us, we've got it covered.
Yeah.
And so that's the same thing, right? You've got the hearts and flowers, and you know, she makes sure that the lights are on. You know, it's awesome. I think if you have too much of one or the other, that's what happened to me in college anyway. There's no getting out of bed because there's so much romance everywhere,
right?
Or there's like forgetting that you have a girlfriend in the first place because we doing something, I don't know,
glorified roommates.
Yeah, exactly. So I think for me anyway, it was cool to find like an opposite reverse reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. You know.
Yeah, I think she's good. I think we're good at the yin yang sort of situation. My only problem is she forgets that yin yang includes like learning from each other, you know? And she's like, no, I'm in charge. And I'm like, yeah, but you shouldn't be sometimes, you know? And
Yeah.
that just gets me in more in trouble. And then ipso facto, next thing you know, it happens. Anyway.
Well, tonight on Ask Admiral Larry, did you see? I've got the Admiral things
Yes.
today because, man, I don't know if that came out right, the sputtering beginning of this one, but I really appreciate old Tim letting us use a little clip from what's it, Skyray it's called. That's the plane that Alan Shepard did all his daring do, his right stuff in. And I just, man, I really liked Suck It Easy. I think I'm sad they're not playing together. What the hell is that? Why does that keep coming up? Stop it. Although,
yeah, that song is awesome.
Anyway,
and that intro is awesome, and you guys did a great job. And you should all go buy Tim's stuff.
Tim, we should get him on.
We should.
But
Tim, get your ass on here right now.
He's a Hawaiian ukulele guy.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh man, I think it's awesome. You know, like he's definitely, you see him in the back of every movie that takes place in Hawaii starring Owen Wilson ever. He's like, he's just that guy. It's like,
yeah, just loving Hawaii. I love it.
What do you do? I play the ukulele, man, over at the hotel. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. It's like you get to all the fun of being like living a nomadic existence, but still, you know, having a place to sleep in your trailer at night on the sidewalk.
Smart move.
I don't know.
The rest of us are out here with jobs and everything, and he's just out there with.
No, that's his job, though. That's what's.
I know, but like,
so
you know,
cool.
I gotta like wake up in the morning. He's like, yeah, dude, just do. I'm like, all right.
I literally always think of young Chris Pratt with his like sleeping in the Scooby-Doo van, and somehow being able to make it all work to the point where they pay for him to be in a movie, right? And that's what I think about Timothy Connolly, Hawaiian ukulele guy. It's just, he's just making it work, and it looks weird to everyone else, but who are we to say, man?
Good for him.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm not here to judge.
Well, I'm here to judge,
I always wear.
And his music is judged awesome, and we totally appreciate it. And yeah, good on my kid for knowing how iMovie works.
Yeah, technology.
Look at, we got guys in the thing. Sag's here. Chris Pratt is Shame. Taylor Swift is the siren. Look at this.
He's doing a whole casting list over here.
I would like to just personally apologize to Chris Saglisig, because I think I'm saying his last name correctly there, because that's how formal the Admiral is today.
Sure.
I would like to apologize for Hector Gonzalez, who gave Chris shit when he posted on his Facebook this picture of a tree falling down over by where he works. There's a tree in the road with the caution tape and stuff. It's like, wow, that's, you don't see that every day. A big old ass tree fell down in the storm, right? Which is the innocence that the vibe is coming off of Chris's post. And Hector comes flying in his like TX9 or whatever with all guns blazing, going, yeah, I hope San Francisco recovers from this horrible nightmare or some shit that's like that. And I was like, you know, it's not often that I read something else that someone writes that makes me go, harumph. It's just like, come on, Hector. The fucking tree fell down. And then I realized I wasn't really so, you know, I had an opinion about that. It was that I was in that same exact storm Chris was in. And it was fucking nuts. Oh yeah, that's what he said. We shall rebuild. I was like, yeah, okay, Mr. Ohio guy who's in Southern California now. Anyway,
we had an earthquake in Washington D.C. in 2011, and nothing happened. I mean, it was like a 1.2 on the Richter scale or whatever, but it's Washington D.C., so like no one ever knows what an earthquake is, like
Yeah.
period. Actually, funny story. I was in a private area of the building at the time, and I had to. It was a very weird sensation taking a number two. And in the middle of that, there's all of a sudden this fucking earthquake happening. It was
So
really weird.
which building though? Which building?
Whatever office building I was working in, I don't know.
Because I was like, wait, did I miss that he's in the Pentagon or something?
No,
Don't
no.
interrupt him. And you're like, then I'm taking a number two, and I'm like, dude, you were taking a dump in the Pentagon during an earthquake. How have I never heard this?
I mean, I can change the story. That's cool.
just if somebody asks, just say it's the Pentagon.
Yeah. It was a Pentagon,
and then they don't know if you're joking or not.
You know.
That works.
And then so we got out of the building, everyone gets out of the building, and for weeks the memes were like I'm sure you've seen the meme of like the folding chair knocked over, and it's like hashtag never forget, or we will rebuild, whatever it is. Yeah, it's the great DC earthquake. It was good times.
Nice.
Anyway,
earthquakes, I don't make jokes about earthquakes because it's a really primal sensation. Like when you see when you come on a snake and that snake is moving and you go, hey, that fucking thing doesn't have legs. That's a little beyond my experience right now. And your brain kind of goes, fuck that thing, even if it's innocent, right? And that's how I feel about earthquakes, even of the mildest level. The earth is going back and forth, man. And
it's weird.
That's not a regular thing. So you get to feel how you feel about that, because fuck rocks moving back and forth without obvious earth moving equipment that you can see.
Like literally the ground is moving. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah. Plus, I had my pants down.
Well, that's just awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah.
I don't know.
I tried calling my then girlfriend at the time, who had previously like sort of broken up with me a little bit, and she was like, "Why are you calling me?" I was like, "We just had an earthquake." She was like, "I don't want to talk to you." So I was like, "Okay, that's fair." I remember this earthquake very vividly.
Yeah, that's the best.
I had a lot going on.
Oh, let's see. Did it help? Extra push and shake? Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing.
No, it didn't.
I know that you don't like comics. You don't care about comics. But in one of my comics, a guy is taking a dump on the moon, and the thing gets destroyed.
That's awesome.
And he's found like a couple things later because people are all like, dude, what happened to that guy? I was like, what? He died. No, he didn't die on the toilet. And I was like, all right. So anyway, earthquakes and toilets on the moon.
It's a thing.
That's how you get that in the comics.
It's a thing.
Oh,
so yeah. Now Hector's trying to defend himself.
He's trying to defend himself. It's just, it's over. Because then it's like, do we still do phrasing? He's only felt one since he's been on here. One what? Come on, Hector, right? I mean, one fake boob.
Get it. Get it together.
One fake dog testicle. I don't know.
I've never felt dog testicles.
So can I just say this to Sag for a second? We'll get back to that though. He lives about 3 miles away from me in a straight line, okay? And he feels like that last quake, it was like Thor hit his house, which is awesome because we didn't feel a thing, and it's because of how our house is oriented towards the fault that it's on. So basically, ours went up and down like a surfboard, and Chris's went up and down with it, but in a like slamming motion, His got like picked up and dropped.
Yeah.
And ours kind of went, hey man, beach. but that's crazy, right? I mean, just a couple miles away from each other.
Yeah, that is nuts.
Anyway.
Dude, the world is a weird place. Like Earth, like planet Earth is a weird. Have you ever watched those documentaries? Like
all the time.
Fucking crazy shit going on, man. I don't even want to talk about it.
Uh-oh. That's fine because I had 3 jokes about one. It's like Nicolas Cage. I only watch the ones where Nicolas Cage narrates them.
Yeah.
just to do like some kind of tie-up thing. And then my friggin' kid just texted me because now it's something about lacrosse practice, and so I have to panic like a dad for just a sec.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh, okay. He's just joking. Never mind. All is
Boo.
well. All is well. It's 3:20, so he's making a joke because he loves to make 4:20 jokes. Teenagers, what are you gonna do?
Teenagers, they're weird people, man. We got them all over the place at Starfleet Academy High School. It's weird. There's a lot of weird kids. They all think they're very smart, and they're definitely not.
Can
You
you
know?
talk about stuff like that? Because this is technically in public, right?
I mean, I can't talk about like
But
names.
some
You
of
know?
the stories that you tell about like your AP students who are like don't
Oh,
show up for a test, that was the one that I like. Like more than half the class knew there was a test and just went, you know,
it's
I don't get
every
it.
other teacher. Because I'm not used like this
Weird.
is I'm new to the Starfleet Academy high school level. I was at Starfleet Academy for a while. And then now I'm at the high school auxiliary level, and all of the fellow high school teachers, they all tell me this is all COVID. This is backlash from COVID because during COVID, teachers were basically not enforcing any rules, and if they did enforce any rules, it didn't matter anyway. They would just get overridden. So the kids learned during those 2-3 years that deadlines don't matter, and they can take tests whenever they want, and they can do
Wow.
assignments whenever they want. If they want to do it at 3 in the morning, they can do it at 3 in the morning. And school is a social event. School is not a learning event, which I think is really weird. And I don't play that shit. Come in my room, there's no fun being had. We're gonna learn history. You know, um, but yeah, that's what
So Dr.
everybody tells me.
Price's class works off 21st century rules, right?
No, my class works on 20th century fucking. You are going to read the entire book, and I'm going to stand there and watch you do it because I had to do that shit too.
I do.
Um,
I run into that with my kid all the time. He'll be like, "I got what a lot of homework I got." I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "I got to read chapter 3." Like chapter 3, and he's like, "Yeah, it's like 12 pages long." Yeah, and he's like, "No, that's
right,
it." And I'm like,
right,
"Dude, don't come at me and say 12 pages is like
right,
crazy." And he's
right.
like, "No, I know." And I'm like, "I don't think mommy would take that one either." Because, but I mean he was just saying that because that's what they say at school, right?
Yeah,
Like he didn't really believe that, but he was like, "Oh boy, this chapter 3 is a big deal." Come on.
we have an issue where we can't assign homework, or like there's no like rule against assigning homework, but it's very difficult to assign homework because um, you can't guarantee that the student has access to the internet overnight because
Wow.
we have a diverse population.
Yeah.
Not in terms of we do in terms of race, but also in terms of like income.
Sure,
So we
economics, yeah.
can't we can't assume that, and it's true. I mean, we have students who have less than ideal living conditions, but all that does is it takes the other percentage of students and just gives them a free pass.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, they don't have homework either. Where it's like these kids could totally do the homework and would benefit from doing homework, and we're not allowed, or it'll backfire if you give them homework. It's a weird situation.
I keep
Um,
forgetting how cool it is to be in Silicon Valley because
yeah.
when Walker was in middle school, like that was starting to be a thing, the economic strata of like
Hmm.
even within San Francisco, it wasn't guaranteed that you even had access to the internet, right? This was a few
Yeah.
years ago, but still. And so, somebody made it known, and then all of a sudden, the whole school system has a laptop for every kid that wants one.
Yeah.
And that was awesome, and it didn't cost Apple much, right? And it was complete like audience goodwill, right? So the entire place went Apple like overnight just by that.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's actually cool. So you didn't. It was funny. The younger kids couldn't go home with them, but they had access to them all day at school. You just had to put
Right.
it away like you were taking care of a pet bunny or something, right? Man, that was cool. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, they don't realize that like that's not normal.
Right, right.
No one
No,
in
I
the history
know.
of man has had this
Yeah.
advantage until you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, our kids, they all have individual Dell laptops, and we have a big Microsoft, you know, cloud system.
That's
But
cool.
other ones have Google Chromes. You know, every school system now has something like that. It's very weird. It's a weird situation, and they all
Yeah.
just fucking shit all over it. They all just
Yeah.
don't care. Like,
I was just thinking, Star Trek, that's what we wanted, right? But it's
yeah,
heading so Blade Runner so fast. Like
yeah,
everything's just kludged together and tacked on to stuff, and this pipe has to go there. Although, can I tell you, as everybody knows, you spent some time in the trenches telling people what kind of screws to get and stuff like that. I
I mean,
personally,
yeah, I've done my time at the way stations. Yeah,
I
no,
personally walked into a hardware store today and got some gear to replace a light switch that's right behind me. And that was my like sort of last fear was electronics. I've just been zapped too many times at
sure,
at jobs. I
yeah,
have kind of like I don't like dogs kind of level internet things with electricity. I can do it. I'll change a light bulb. I'll swap a lamp or something. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't know. I just didn't want to. I bought one of those SCE to aux flippable astronaut
yeah,
things. You can
yeah,
you can't see it because it's right behind that white helmet. And I put it in. I feel so proud of myself.
nice.
And but what reminded me is the Blade Runner kludged in things I was going to say, and hoses and wires, everything over everything. And so behind me is Walker's 3D printer, and all the cords are just across the floor. So I bought those little, cable tube things that you're
Yeah,
supposed. And so I got gray and black ones. I'm going to go around the door and knock it up. And I got that cool switch, and I'll put the caution tape and shit. And then I have a rotating yellow light. So basically, if I take the Captain America thing down, Walker probably shoot another movie in this little
yeah,
corner right here.
yeah. That's funny.
Anyway, the other news too. I everybody remembers you're trying to do that cabin thing in the back. Maybe you're looking into that.
We're
Our
looking at
cabin,
it. By
the
we, I mean me. We're
the
looking at it.
the big. You have to worry though, man. The big once in 100-year storm that we just had. The flashing on the floor kind of gave way,
Yeah, I'm sure.
and so yeah, just make sure to do that really tight when you assemble it.
Yeah, that's a whole issue. The viewers remember this whole issue. Basically, this office that I have had a long relationship with is no longer going to be an office, and so as you can see, there's a whole shit ton of books and stuff that I finally got taken, got put away and organized and everything, and
And
then
now they have to go.
now they have to go. And I
Oh
literally,
God.
dude, I literally said, "Where do you expect me to put them?"
Oh yeah.
And the answer was in boxes. And I'm like, okay, all right. I don't think we understand this problem here, but okay, whatever. It'll happen. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
There's
now
there's just
we got different options
there's
bubbling in old Duder's head, you know.
there's got to be some kind of compromise at some point about
You would
stuff.
think so. That's a
Well, if
whole
there isn't, then that's that, right?
well, it's like I was saying with the yin and yang
It's
situation, right?
just
It's like I
how
feel
long.
I go over on the yang side quite a bit. And you know,
Yeah.
every once in a while I'd like her to go on the yin side, you know. Anyway, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's gonna be great.
I was with you right till the end. It's gonna be
Everything's gonna be
great.
great. Everything's gonna be
It's
great.
gonna be great. And
Let's see.
no, it's not even that. What makes me laugh is that's what Space Raylan says in The Mandalorian. It's gonna be great. So whenever anybody says that in whatever tone of voice, I always think of my man crush Timio, and it's like, oh, how do you get that guy like more manly? Put him in Boba Fett armor for a story reason.
Dude, right? Dude, how good is that damn show? I'm so sick of people who are like, oh, I don't like The Mandalorian. I don't like
Those
Boba
people are
Fett. Like, dude, fuck off.
right.
Like, it's great. It's great.
That's a short.
You know what? It's not as great as Picard season 3, which just won a whole bunch of Saturn Awards. Yay!
We tried to talk about that in the beginning, but I don't know if anybody saw it, and if not, I'm so fucking pissed about that. I'll go again. In
Let's
what
do it.
fucking world where Andor exists does Picard season 3 win fucking best farts?
I mean, come on.
Are you insane? I mean, okay, the For All Mankind, the high bobs, they were all mad that, what about For All Mankind? Like, frankly, last year was not award winning, but I mean, that's the level of, I think For All Mankind season 4 kind of was crappy, and that's the level. I think it was equal to the level of Picard season 3.
Jonathan Frakes won Best Supporting Actor. Jerry Ryan won Best Supporting Actress. What were the other two? Sir Patrick won Best Actor in a television series for Picard. Like, what?
What?
Ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Look, okay, whatever. All I have to say about that is that just reinforces what I think of awards in general, right?
I want to know how much they paid.
No, I mean, even to be the most charitable, you see what happened there, right? Like, Patrick Stewart is going to be alive for 10 more minutes.
That's right.
And he deserved Best Actor for Emmy in that episode, Sarek, back in the day. And so
that's a great episode.
So, right. That guy acted his balls off. And that year, I remember thinking, nobody is better acting this year than this guy. And because he's doing it to another guy with pointed ears, he's going to get nothing but laughs if it comes up at all. And so now all the people who are my age, who grew up to that, are running shit. And they're like, hey, let's give it to the guy. Here's our last chance, right? And so I kind of get it. But, like, if you give that Best Actor to him, how are you giving Best Supporting Actor to Frakes with a straight face, right? Like, really? In all the other TV shows that happened this year of a sci-fi action adventure bent, those are your top two guys? Really? In a television show. All right. Anyway.
And Jerry Ryan, like, I like Jerry Ryan. I like 7 and 9. I think she did a really good job in that show. But, like, I watch other shows too. There's no way. There's no way. Like,
I watch other shows too.
I watch other shows too. Like, look, I love Star Trek. I'm wearing a goddamn Lower Decks fucking. You know what? Fucking Boimler should have won fucking Best Actor. Anyway,
I just think that with a straight face, just within Star Trek, that wasn't the best Star Trek that year. I mean, so. Like you said,
I just watched that episode. Sarek. I just watched that episode the other day. That is such a good fucking episode, man. Like, Patrick Stewart acts his fucking balls off in that episode. Like, that is like possibly the best acting in all of Star Trek. Like, him having that breakdown with Beverly Crusher and like, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I will say that is the best acted hour front to back.
Yeah.
That is sustained over one story.
Yeah.
Because like lots of people have favorites of like some particular funny moment, some particular thing that really hits them just right.
Yeah.
I like, man, some of Kevin Riley's stuff. Anyway, given all that, you're fucking absolutely right. I don't think there's better acting in Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, plus Mark Leonard on the other side doing his thing. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
There's, that's why I think it's stupid when you give somebody a best actor thing, because it doesn't happen in a vacuum. So maybe that's what they're trying to say with Picard, that everybody, like, if we give it to Patrick Stewart, then let's give it to the whole company because that's their last swan song.
Well, the weird
Maybe.
thing, there's this weird like talking point that's come out of Picard season 3 where it's Jonathan Frakes' best acting as Riker. And they've been
No, it
saying this
isn't.
for a long time. And I'm like, you guys are like, I kind of didn't take them seriously, but I guess now there's your proof. Everyone kind of believes this shit now. They've talked themselves into this bullshit.
I would like to see somebody show their work on that one, because
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's bad, but I'm
No.
saying, how is that the example if we're talking his Frakes' best acting work? How is
Right.
Picard 3 an example in there? That's not even top 5, man. That guy crushed it a lot in a lot of challenging things. And he didn't get a lot of credit because he wasn't the captain, basically.
Yeah.
And man, that guy, I don't know. I have a lot of respect for that dude.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like the episode where he's in Ryza and he's with that redhead and she has the game and it goes bloop bloop. That's good acting.
part of the problem is he's playing, he's playing the difficult middle brother who's, the oldest child is the girl and she's wicked smart. So she's got two things going for it. Second one's got a lot of pressure on it to be awesome. They're just lightning in a bottle. He's a dude, taller and athletic and action oriented, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's sort of seen as equal and it's cool, but there's always going to be struggle, right? And that's next generation, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was full of metaphors today. I don't know why I just went off on that one, but I fucking loved that because it's just Groundhog Day. I said the Groundhog sees 6 more weeks of Terry Matalas and Dave Blass talking about
very
fucking
funny.
Star Trek Legacy for some reason. Because that's what it is. Like
That's exactly what it is.
they find ways to bump that beach ball that nobody fucking cares about.
Yeah.
Like
It's a beach ball with no air.
It's
They just
embarrassing.
keep popping it.
Anyway, so that's I think that's it. Really makes sense about us talking about the Saturn Awards too, because it all seems of this piece of like the world is just deciding. The people who have always run the world, the 13 old men in Geneva who make up like what happens, they just have decided to not like be subtle about it anymore. And they just like deputize a bunch of Karens everywhere. And it's like, all right, well, this is how this is going to go now. And everybody just kind of goes along with it. And you're like, no, wait. I'm sorry about the coronavirus, but you still have to read books, right? Anyway.
No, they don't read books.
I'm kind of on a riff today.
I actually, in the teacher's lounge, I just took a whole bunch of books. I was like, no one's going to read these. So I just took them. Now they're in my room.
Yeah, apparently they need to go into boxes. So you're just moving books around. Welcome to comic book publishing, man. Yeah, you want that? Yeah, that's great. Oh, you didn't sew it. Oh,
it's like, do you understand that like I'm an academic and I need books? Like, is that no? That's not part of the equation.
Well, the science officer was a science officer at one point now, and maybe
she's currently a science officer. I don't know.
But I mean, is she more administrative, or is she in the lab with Dr. McCoy?
She's a lab. She's a lab person.
How does she not know that you need manuals?
I don't do.
Yeah, I got nothing, man.
I can't. I don't want to think about it.
Apparently, she doesn't like Star Trek that much either.
She doesn't. She humors me. She humors me. She allows me to watch my one, and then she goes and does something else.
Well, I mean, sometimes that's all you can ask for, right?
That's fine with me. I don't.
Speaking of which, I was kind of bummed that Strange New Worlds, I found out, isn't showing up until 2025 now. So
yeah, the whole thing has been pushed back.
The writer's strike and stuff. I understand it intellectually, but I don't like it emotionally. So I've started watching weird shit on streaming, stuff that I wouldn't ordinarily watch myself.
Nice.
Oh my god, can I high concept something for you?
Yeah, let's do it.
They did a movie called Dumb Money about the GameStop.
We just watched that.
All
Yeah.
right, dude. Okay, well, great. So you're gonna love. I'm kind of in the middle of it. I actually stopped because I'm like, no, everybody in my family is gonna want to watch this one. But
Yeah.
I told they were like, what is it? And one of those based on a true story things, and I was like, no, it's a period piece about this cool thing that happened in 2021. And like Walker bit right away. He was like, okay, I fucking totally get it. Because he knew Paul Dano was the star. And he's like, okay, I totally get my stupid dad. And Mimi was like, what does that mean? And I'm like, they're treating this thing like it's a snapshot in time.
Yeah.
So like every single thing, every music choice, every frame shot, everything people are wearing, people are saying, every single fucking thing. If you just blindfolded me and blocked everything out and said, what year does this take place? I'd say present day, and they'd be like, no, put a year on it. I literally would say 2021.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Insane. So hats off to literally everybody in the planet for that one. And then it's super entertaining, so much that I stopped so I can enjoy it with 2 other people.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
What'd you guys think? You can't spoil it for me. Go ahead.
No, I liked it. I liked it.
I lived through it. So
yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's good. I liked it. Yeah, at the end they do a comparison with like what the characters are saying and what the real people are saying. Like, it's pretty interesting, you know, just to kind of like prove like, yeah, this is literally what happened. Like,
yeah.
You know? Yeah, no, it's fun.
Yeah, I love stuff.
I wish I got rich, but I didn't. But that's okay.
I think that's why I was so up on that, because you and some of the other cats that we digitally hang out online were covering it. Like, wasn't Ivory kind of watching that?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's big
in
for
Eugene.
him.
Yeah,
Eugene's
so I was
on it. Yeah,
I was just watching you. I didn't put any money on it, but that's why I remember.
I went hard on a different stock that didn't blow up to the same level as GameStop, and I didn't make that much money. So here we are begging for donations.
Now we're back to Captain Johnny Bummer. Look at this. Somebody's trying to get Metalis as the Star Trek version.
Of course they are. That's been going around for a while. I mean, it might be a new petition, but I mean, they've been wanting that shit since season. The Trexperts, they're all about that. They want him in charge, like straight up.
All right. Well, the Trexperts, you mean Mark Altman?
Yeah, Mark Altman. Yeah.
Like, if Altman thought for a second about it, he would want Alan McElroy to be in charge of it.
Well, sure. They're really big on Metalis.
But I will say they need somebody in charge of Star Trek who understands Star Trek, who isn't up Star Trek's ass.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's a really fine line, because otherwise you get J.J. Abrams' Star Wars, right? It's perfectly serviceable. People got some quibbles, but nobody's like telling you they fucked with our religion. You know?
I don't know. Star Wars fans are a little crazy.
Because if you really care that much, well, this part of your religion's over here with the Mandalorian. It's not like they're taking it away from you. All of Star Trek now, except for Lower Decks, it's got too much Abrams Kurtzman.
You know what's interesting to me, and you might find this interesting. There's been a rhetorical shift among like whiny fans, right? Where it's like, instead of people using their imagination, they're always looking for an answer, right? It's like, oh, we need someone to tell the story of I need to know what happened when Sulu was captain, you know, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, just make it up in your head.
Right.
Like, why wouldn't you do that? But it's the same sort of thing. You'll hear that way of framing the dilemma. It's like, yeah, well, we need a Worf story because we need to know what happened on Tuesday, December 13th, 2368. You know what I mean? Like that, that sort of, and they do it with Star Wars too. It's like, oh, well, we need to know what was happening when Luke was 17. You know, we need someone to tell us. It's like, no, that's not how this works.
So this is your area of expertise. So I'm going to ask you questions that are really going to annoy you, because I'm sure you can talk for 3 days about this. Why do you think that is? I
I think
agree with your observation 100%, and it fucking annoys me because the world didn't used to be like that. And so you have to tell me why. Why, Professor? Why?
Well, I think on one hand, it's just general laziness. I think it's lack of creativity. So you probably
Ugh,
had those same conversations, but you
yeah,
didn't have Twitter, and
yeah,
I think
spoon-fed kind of.
a lot of it is the part of, or to blame, a lot of the blame goes on the franchises themselves. They've turned themselves into these sort of definitive stories, right? Well, it's like, okay, now you will find out the next chapter of Star Wars, right? It's like, well, it's just the next Star Wars movie. It doesn't have to be like, you're not creating a Bible, bro. Like, you're
Yeah.
not, this isn't the revelation of JJ. This is just, the next
So,
movie. And
Mike,
that's the framing that I think they screwed themselves with.
you have to dig this, man. This is happening everywhere because my kid and I were talking about this with DC Comics is doing it where they have these big events where something
Yeah.
has to happen. You have to have all this stuff. And then now they're doing where that big event leads into this other big event. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And then that big event leads into this third event. Isn't that cool? But then all that did was make your event just kind of what happens. And
Yeah.
so there's no rise in excitement because you're just fucking getting punched in the side and punched in the left.
Hmm.
And I feel that that's what you were describing with Star Wars, but I also think it's a lot of that Napster thing that
Mm.
like right at the beginning of the digital sort of native thing happening, everybody was like, yeah, information wants to be free. And here's all this free shit. So everything is free. And you just start getting used to being spoon fed. Well, maybe this isn't free, but this guy's got this pirate thing that I can go get it for free over there. And then you start to learn stuff and then you start to fake yourself out that you're not stealing shit. And because you've learned something along the way and I don't know, whatever. But now it's like it happens in your narrative. Well, what happens here when this happened? Well, it's not a choose your own adventure, buddy.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's like leave it to the professionals, and that's what gets me so fucking
Well,
crazy with fanboys.
like for example, right? Like I'm in the Trek Yards Facebook group because I love starships. Like it's
And you
like
hate yourself.
it's my number one fetish is starships, and I hate everything about Trek Yards. But there will always be people who post things like, have we ever found out what the next generation of light cruiser is? And I'm like, dude, just make
Yeah,
it up.
right.
Like, make up a starship. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I don't get
have
those
we
guys
ever
because
found out this thing? It's like, no, that's the wrong way to approach a question in a sci-fi franchise.
but that's it exactly because when I was a kid, that's what you did. It's like, well, they've never had one of these things. So what if you take the engines
Right,
here and put that there, and then you made a model, and it's like the USS like Bouncing Boy because you like
right,
Legion's superheroes, right?
right.
And it's like, I mean, come on, like how that's a blast. You learn stuff, you
Yeah,
interact with
that's
people.
the whole
You're
point.
talking to the fat guy at the hobby store who's like, trying to get you into his hot dog van. Like shit happens, right? You're interacting with the world, and this is like, meh, meh.
Yeah.
What does that fucking prove?
And it's
Uh,
interesting because like the result, if that person got the result they wanted, they wouldn't get creativity, they would get encyclopedia entry. And it's like, is that all you want? You just want to read about Star Trek on Wikipedia? Is that what you want? Is this, you don't want to read the books, you don't want to read the technical manuals, you just want to read the Wikipedia entry, or the
yeah.
memory alpha, whatever the case may be. I don't know, it's weird, it's a weird situation.
Agreed. Look at Sagasag. He's like, look,
See,
these
holding it down.
right. I mean, that's what you do, man.
A real fan.
I didn't. Of course, we didn't have 3D printers back when I was making models out of Adobe and dry sticks that I gathered.
Dude, right?
But uh, yeah, I used to love kit bashing. Like you would put stuff together,
Oh, it's the
you'd find
best.
some cool shape, and then build stuff off of it. And Rick Austin, wherever he is out in the world doing Hollywood shit, he did this great one that he built off a Listerine bottle. But
Nice.
he did all this work, and all anybody saw was the Listerine bottle because it's such a distinctive shape. And you can figure the top of the bottle was the nozzle of the engine. It was a cool spaceship. But it was fantastic. And I was like, dude, you're gonna hate this thing. You're gonna end up throwing this thing out because you used a Listerine bottle. And it was true.
So much fun though. Like I remember when I was a kid.
It was great.
Just buy a couple cheap model kits and see what parts fit together and what looks good, what doesn't. Like, yeah, it's fun, man.
Well, when we were Sack saying about Kit Passion, right? That it's like when we were out like 13, 14 when Star Wars came out, and they made a big deal of saying, look at these studio scale monster ships. This little thing, it's a crazy shot in the beginning, and that thing's only 3.5 feet long, right? And then they'd go into, because everybody cared about Star Wars, they went into it with documentaries about, Joe Johnson, all those guys.
Oh, sure, yeah.
John Mallow. And that was like a Bible to me.
Yeah.
Yes, like he's going exactly that. Also, watch this, and Cinemagic too, right? You look like the kind of guy that was reading Cinemagic. There was dude, when I got my 2001 suit finally, and I'm like kind of out of collecting now because that was my holy grail.
That's your holy grail.
It was. I told me that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy dumb Star Trek shirts every once in a while, but like I'm unless I'm done with the astronaut suits, because that was the one. And it's true. But anyway, I remember in this mag, Cinemagic, it was about just basically Super 8mm model making, because that was part of the Lucas Spielberg thing in their press at the time. That, look, we were just morons in our backyard shooting our films, and now we got Academy Awards. And so we were like, I want to be a moron doing this too. And so this mag catered to it, and some fucking lunatic built a really, really good, I can't say it's exact because words mean things, but a really good 2001 suit. And he kind of like broke it down in his letter to the editor about what it was and what he used, and the whole thing added up to about $60. So I don't know what that is in 1977 money, but maybe it sounds like it's probably about $150, $200, which is like really doable for like a hobbyist thing you do in your garage. Because you spread that out over a couple of months, and your dad just goes, he's staying out of his way. Not making girls pregnant. I don't know what he's building here, but who cares? You need $20. There you go. Like, totally doable. And so I've had that thought until I was 60 years old and got like a real replica.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's part of the performance of fandom, is engaging with these properties. I mean, I even hate to call them properties. They're just stories, right? It's like engaging with your religion.
Exactly.
Anyway,
exactly that. Well, you know what I mean. It's small, little, non-offensive. It's beliefs that are closely held to your heart, right? It's just what do you call that?
Story with a humorous climax.
Well, I guess that depends on how well you guys both know each other, right? I mean, anyway, there's a lot of Dear Abby going on today.
Dear Johnny.
Ask Admiral Fun.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I need to ramp up once we're done with the garage and we're done with the outside storage unit /office John will never leave this place ever again. Then we got to get back to buying Star Trek stuff, because
dude,
this is probably the last thing I bought, and you
have to do the outside of it like it's some kind of Starfleet containment cube.
Oh yeah, it's either that or like an Apollo capsule.
John's storage unit. No, but I mean, the Apollo capsule, that's grand. But you can take a cabin and put some funny shapes on it, paint that silver, and then slap all those stickers on it.
Get some Starfleet regulation codes.
Yeah. See, you're way ahead of me.
Yeah, I've already got the doorbell thing. I just stick the doorbell in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sean Stevenson, that's the guy you want to know.
Okay.
Level 7 on Facebook. Sean Stevenson is a
Mhm,
great guy.
mhm, mhm.
Nashville, Tennessee. Print anything you want.
Oh yeah, I've sent him a lot of money in my life.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Maybe not for all standards. For my standards, I've sent him a lot of money in my
I
life.
just meant that you like, oh, really, like you know him. Not
Oh
like
yeah, I know level 7. Yeah.
he. I think
Not personally, but
Marley and Shivers turned me on to him. I think
Mm-hmm.
probably Dr. Kev, because he was really he was number one on the runway with Lost and Shield stuff.
Yeah, I bought a lot of Shield stuff from him. I got a lot of Shield stuff that I don't talk about.
Do you really?
But oh yeah, I got a ton of Shield stuff. Oh, yeah.
Dude, you have a John Penman hat. I've never seen you wear it.
I do.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And everybody, here's John's address. Go try to steal it. He's not going to be there during school hours.
I don't want to.
The science officer's probably thrown it out in the garage. So
I don't want to speak negative about Mr. Penman, but we did not have the most cordial interaction during that process. It's a fantastic hat. I will just leave it. Exactly.
What are you going to do? Right?
What are you going to do?
Sometimes talent.
The product is fantastic. Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I have a lot to say about that as a publisher of comic books and various ephemera. But sometimes talent thinks they're doing you a favor.
Yeah.
And you know, there's not enough of the yang on the other side.
Not enough yang. Yeah.
Here's what I came to the decision or conclusion about is that it's unfair to ask them that, right? And especially somebody like me. I mean, I was talent, so I understand what talent thinks about the process. And then I kind of became administrator of this facility, and I'm running Cloud City, and I don't fucking know how that happened.
A cape so bad.
and which is cool, right? But that's like me expecting the Ugnaughts to fucking know what's up with this handshake deal I did with the Empire, because the Ugnaughts don't have all the information. I know how it is because I did my secret boss thing for a week, throwing robot parts in with the Ugnaughts, so I know what their concerns are. But it doesn't go the other way, and then so that's how I feel about it when some talent that's doing something, I just have to remind myself I'm doing them just this giant favor of like allowing them to let me give them money for their genius.
Right. Yeah.
And once you go through all that, it starts to get kind of funny.
Yeah.
And easier for your own soul to take.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, the product is amazing.
Right.
We got through it.
You know, separate the art from the artist, man.
We got through it.
Tell you.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
But to that point, it's an amazing. I got it as a gift. It's an amazing gift. I love Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is the inspiration for my entire life, and it's a prized possession.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see some photoshops of Kirk and the boys from Patterns of Force into like Raiders of the Lost Ark somewhere.
That would be amazing.
See if you. Yeah. It's way too different. It's shot two different ways. That'd be a lot of Photoshop work, either dirtying up the TV or cleaning up the other.
I don't know how Photoshop.
Look at my gears going.
Sure, it could happen.
I think I know. Enoch is one of us.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
don't know. Hey, thanks. Sorry about the rocky beginning, but it seemed to have settled down. Thanks for chatting. You know, I thought today was super cool. We hit a lot of like super philosophical things.
Yeah, it was a good chat.
Yeah,
you know, Matt Shivers is here just in time.
Time zones, am I right? What Shivers has some funny news that I think something with his daughter, something cool happened. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But thanks. Yeah, time zones. We're heading out. In fact, we started about 10 minutes earlier too, didn't we?
Yeah, we're not good with this time thing.
Yeah,
but we're getting there. You know, what is time?
You know what? Hey, John, you want to stick around for 2 seconds and I'll play the intro again?
Yeah, let's do it.
On the way out. How's that?
I like it. I like that. You can watch me in the same shirt. multiple times.
Oh man, let's see. Where are we going? Let's do it. Thanks everybody. Let's go.
See, told you. Same shirt.